Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. So this is a little bit of a bonus video I've got for you this week, and this is for anybody out there that's been either curious about how OLED TVs deal with sort of dark scenes. And I've had a few comments, and this is in particular for the LG C9, but it will be similar for all of the LG TVs, so the CX or C10, the C1, and obviously this year's C2 possibly as well. Now, what LG OLEDs tend to do is whenever they get a static image, they have the built-in sort of protections, and one of those protections is whenever you get a dark scene, it almost detects it as a static image, so it will gradually darken the whole image. So say for example, if you have a dark scene in a particular movie or TV series, what will end up happening is as that scene progresses, the image will get darker and darker to the point where you'll almost be unable to see anything. And this is even more evident if you're using it in a bright room scenario. So one of the ways that people get around this is if you bring up any menu screen, that actually kicks it off. So for example, if you bring up the pointer or if you just click the settings icon, you will notice that it actually brightens the whole screen back up again. And people have tried that and used that, but obviously that will get quite distracting if you're watching it during a movie, a horror movie. Most horror movies tend to have a lot of dark scenes, and obviously it's not what you want to be doing. Now there is a workaround, and the reason I say workaround is because you do want to be careful making use of this method. So what you need to do is disable this particular setting. So TPC, you need to turn that off. Now the only way to get to this is via a engineer's remote. This is the service menu. Firstly, I wouldn't recommend you change anything else. The only reason I use this is to basically keep track of the hours and pixel refresh count, things like that for my videos. But other than that, I've never changed anything in here, and the reason for that is, as you can see here, you have the actual settings for when your mini and major pixel refreshers actually kick in. So for OFFRS, which is your mini pixel refresh count, as you can see, it's 4. So this has options where you can actually go in and change. If you don't want it every 4 hours, you can have every 2 hours if you want, but obviously that will degrade the life of the panel. So I wouldn't recommend you touch anything else unless you know what you're doing. However, the one that you can disable is TPC enable. So this is essentially the setting that enables that dimming in dark scenes. So I actually disabled this when I was watching Invasion. There are a few prolonged dark scenes in the Invasion series on Apple TV Plus, and I found that it got to the point where it was distracting. And usually I can just live with it because generally you don't have dark scenes that last that long. But in this particular series, there are quite a few sequences where it's maybe 2 or 3 minutes of dark scenes, and it gets to the point where you can't even see anything. So what I did was I went in and I disabled this. Now, if you have an engineer's remote, obviously you can just go in at any time and actually make this change. So if you wanted to disable it for a particular movie, you can go in and just turn it off. And then once you're done with that particular movie, you can then enable it again. Now, I've left this disabled because I wanted to actually do a test on the weekend to see whether this affects the sort of local dimming or logo luminance, the setting that is within the sort of pixel or panel protection area of the settings. And the logo luminance, some people have reported that disabling TPC enable will actually disable logo luminance. So this weekend I will run a test, and basically one way or the other, I'll post in the comments below whether or not it does affect that. If it doesn't, then for me personally, I would probably just leave this off with my usage. But for the time it takes for you to actually go in and disable this, I would say disable it when you need to, and then just re-enable it whenever you think you're just going to be going back to general usage where the extra panel protection kicks in. Essentially, this window here, this 13 option on the service menu, is to do with panel protection, how it deals with protecting it and making sure that you don't have to worry about it. The TPC does cause a lot of dimming during dark scenes, and that's something that people have actually mentioned in the comments, hence why I wanted to make a quick video on how to go and disable it. Now, one thing to note is if you do have a engineer's remote, you can get into this service menu using it and you can go up and down, but on the one that I have, you can't actually go right in order to disable the actual option. So what you have to do is you have to refer back to your normal magic mode, and that will then allow you to go left and right and actually enable or disable it, whereas the service or the engineer's remote won't actually allow you to do that. So you do need both remotes in order to do this, which I suppose is a good thing, because that way you can't accidentally disable something or enable something by mistake. Anyway, that's it for this particular video. If you have enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, please do subscribe as well as hit the notification bell. And until the next one, thanks very much for watching.